Hey, here we are on Boles.tv. It's BOLES.television. Coming to you live and in concert from the East Coast of these United States. And hey, here we go, our old friend Dora, costing us a lot of money now. Making me late for the show, replying to Masto host, but asking a very good question. Now, what are you talking about? Why are you blaming things on Dora? Well, because I can. And secondly, because our best friend, old friend, good friend Dora, young friend Dora, is now on our instance, our Mastodon instance. This is her page. You can follow her right now. You can go say hello to Dora. At D-O-R-A, at Boles.xyz. Dora is with us on Mastodon. And she's having a good time, whether she likes it or not. Yeah. Oh, there's Dora. And Dora asked a very, very, very good question. Now let me see if I can find my timeline. Where Dora said, hey, what's going on with translation? And it's a very good question because there are a lot of international people on Mastodon. And they do post in their own language, which is terrific. And Mastodon really has an European feel to it, which I super love. Maybe that's just because when I'm awake early in the morning, that's their prime time and they're alive and posting and acting. There's a whole different sort of attitude and tone and way of interacting with people. It's very delightful. As somebody said, was trying to convince some big writer to leave Twitter. And this one person was saying, and go to Spoutable, which is new, which is a very bizarre service. And then somebody in the comments said, no, don't go to Spoutable, go to Mastodon. It's more fun. Now, that was really the key. That's a terrific way of putting it. So here we are looking at my Mastodon account, and Dora's asking about translation. And I have looked for translation, and I can't find it. And then I find out from people commenting that translation has to do with the instance you're on. Well, since I run my own instance, I've never seen anything that has to do with translation. So I asked my host, and they just replied and said, you have to basically go out and buy translation somewhere, get an API key, give me your hosting company, Masto Host. It's terrific. Masto.host, Masto Host. Give them the API key, then they'll add it to your account, and then everything will translate. So it's not a necessary evil, it's a necessary want. So it's something I have to go investigate. Now, as I told Dora, I've discovered that on the iOS apps that I use, I kind of go back and forth between Ice Cubes, which is totally free and open source, and the guy running it updates it almost every day. That there's a little button on the tweets that you can click on it, says translate, and it instantly translates. And he has, I checked where he gets his translations from. It's very good. I like that service a lot. I don't know how much it costs. Then there's Ivory and Tapbots, and they're behind because they got kicked off of Twitter, and they made a lot of money with their tweet bot, and then Elon cut them off, destroyed the company. And so Paul Haddad and Marc Jardine said, well, we've been sort of working haphazardly on a Mastodon app for iOS. Let's just push like heck the next 6 days and see if we can get something out there and try to get some money coming in. And all the fans of Tweetbot said, well, we will support you on Ivory. So they have translation. It's a little harder to find. You have to click on the 3 dots and then click on translate, and then it sort of bumps you out into Google Translate, and then you kind of read it on Google, and then you kind of have to go back to Ivory. Not seamless, clunky, functionally clunky, as I said in my response to Dora. But it's there, and I know they're going to make it better. But if I can get translation On our instance, that's terrific. I just don't know where to go. So I asked Mastohost because he knows everything. Hugo is his name. He's absolutely delightful. He's very patient with me. I ask a lot of questions, not all of them stupid. Some of them are genuinely necessary questions. So I have to figure that out today. And I'm hoping that Hugo will reply to me. I was just checking to see who's replied. He has not replied. What services most people like to use? Because I have a feeling there are not very many. And I mean, on my little tiny instance, if they, bill you per translation, it's not going to be very much. Now, if we get popular and we get, 100 people or 1,000 people, and we have to expand our empire, well, that's different. That could be a little bit of a problem. I wonder if you can use ChatGPT to translate. Now, that's very interesting. That makes me wonder. I'm going to write myself a note. But what Ice Cubes is using is nice, and it can't be that expensive because the guy is doing Ice Cubes on his own dime. And, there's a tip jar, tip him $6, which, of course, you do the second you use it. So he can't be really paying a lot for his translations, and his translations, to me, are pretty good. And they make sense. So ChatGPT will be OpenAI for translations. But what I'm hoping is that Hugo will just reply to me and say, look, just go here and do this. Don't go anywhere else. And maybe he won't say it publicly because he doesn't want to offend anybody. So that is on my agenda now today. Thank you, Dora, making more projects for me, which is fine because we need to refine, and it's a very fair question. Where is the translation? Because you do see in your timeline a lot of German, a lot of French, and a lot of Asian. It would be great to have a translation. I love the idea. I will get it fixed today. Hey, there's artist Dora. Yeah, Clunky is right, she says. Oh, goody, yes, chat. It's GPT. Should be a way to go. You are so welcome. I do know that OpenAI does some sort of translation, and I already have an account there. So it might, and I have an API key as well. Oh, now you're making me wonder. I'm just going to check. Here, we'll do it together so I can, not being rude. Let's just see if OpenAI, does OpenAI offer translation services? Yeah, it's not going to be free on OpenAI. Let's see. With its completion endpoint, OpenAI provides an effective quick response to translate text. This endpoint allows you to supply the API with the text to be translated, and it will return the exact and reliable translation of that content into more languages. Now, that's very interesting. But how does it work? That's my trouble. I don't know if I can make it work. I don't have to make it work. I just have to give Hugo an API key and let him do it. Well, this page is for Hugo. That's not for me. I just need to know how much it costs. Where do I set it up? Maybe my existing API would work. This is getting very interesting. I like the idea. Localization. What languages does OpenAI translate? Translated programmer translates French, Spanish, Japanese. Not German. Wrong kind of language. That's coding language. We don't want that. Well. A whole bucket of dirt I've just thrown on myself. Okay, so I got to figure that out with Hugo today. I'm probably going to have to email him. But boy, it'd be great if it was OpenAI because I don't even have to set up an account. It's already there. Just go. But it doesn't look like it does the kind of translation that I wanted to do. Whisper AI, multiple languages. Well, what is this now? We've trained an open sourcing neural net called Whisper that approaches human level robustness actually on English speech recognition. Now, that's voice to text, it looks like, which I like. Oh, here we go. Oh, transcription. That's not what you can do for your country. Maybe it would work. API. I'm logged in, but I'm not sure if it will work. Translate code to codecs, family time. We're hoping Hugo will reply. But maybe he will, maybe he won't. So if you want to join Dora and all the fun, just go to boles.xyz. I'll show you what an incognito, because if I go to it now, I'll be logged in. So this is what it looks like. BOLES dot, is that a dot? I don't have my glasses on. XYZ, yeah. Boom. Oh, well, at least it's there. That's Google checking. Dear Bulls and friends, well, look at that. It's all there. Well, that's delicious. Absolutely delicious. Fantastico. Okay, so click on Boles.xyz. That takes you to our instance, where you can sign in and create an account up at the very top. You can't see it on this screen, but it's there. And you can fly. Oh, why is this not showing? Ah, I guess I have to go. Oh, it's not moving. Oh, it won't go because it's a private window. Trust me, it's there. Okay. We're off to a great start. So when you join our Mastodon instance, you have a lot of fun, meet a lot of fun people. You can follow Dora. Jana Marie, the delightful and sweet and delicious Jana Marie, is also there. Matt Wagner, our book agent friend for the last 30 years, is now on Mastodon. He's using it as a backup to Twitter, but of course everything's a backup to Twitter because the thing's going to explode in a couple of months. It's already exploding. I read a thing that said Twitter Blue was a tremendous failure. And it's supposed to offer you like 10 things. You pay $8, you get 10 things. No ads, you get your ads promoted. And the only thing it does is give you a really fake verified badge. And Elon has said over the weekend that the old badges we have, that I have, that we've had for 10 years are invalidated because they're corrupted. So he's going to take those away from us, and then you can get it back by buying one from Elon. No thanks. I'll pass. So we have a lot of fun. On Mastodon, the Boles.xyz instance. I'm trying to remember what ice cubes use for translation, so I'm just, this is now in me. Ice cubes application. Ice cubes translation in Italian. Ice cubes. So this is it, but what does it? DeepL. That's what it is. It's DeepL translation. DeepL.com. Okay, now this is what Ice Cubes uses. Have you tried DeepL for Chrome extension? No, I have not. Now, DeepL Pro. Yeah. Fast, accurate. Try it for free. Unlimited text translation. Translate as much as you like without restriction. Characters. Translation of whole file. Data security. Your perfect plan. Starter. Meow. Per user per month. Billed annually. Try for free. Free for 30 days. Cancel at any time. Maximum data security. Unlimited text translation. 5 editable file translations per month. Upload files. Now, are these APIs? I don't know. For developers, we're not a developer. DeepL API free includes access to all features, access to DeepL REST API, 500,000 character limit a month, 1,000 glossaries, upgrade to Pro at any time. API free does not include cat tool integration, web translation. Yeah, I guess we would be a developer, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Individuals and teams, that's not us. We're a developer. Okay, so that's what it's going to do. But I have to say, translation quality is really very good. English to German, English to Chinese, English to Japanese. Hey, if it's good enough for ice cubes, it's going to be good enough for us. Now, if it's good enough for Dora, we don't know, because Dora is very particular and very difficult to please. No, just kidding. API, that's what we're looking for. Translate DeepL with API. Okay, integrate the words, read the docs. I'm not going to read your docs. Everything you need for translation in one place. Best in class quality. Document translation. Advanced data security. Formality. Language detection. Monthly cost of control. Easily limit. Okay, that's good. And we're going to translate 5 things a day. 3 things a day. DeepL API free. I like that. That's probably what we'll do. Oh boy. 500 character size. Yeah, maybe. And then if you have to go pro, $6 a month. That's not bad, right? No volume restrictions. Thousands of glossary, cost control, starter pay as you go, $2,500 per million. Hey, technology. Nobody said it was going to be free. We all said it was going to be fun. But none of us said it was going to be free. But we thank Dora, the lovely Dora, for asking very good questions, very fair questions. And I don't want to say I was attacked, not like Twitter. When you're on Twitter and you get attacked, oh boy, you feel that one. I got a little, I don't want to say attacked, but I did get hit a little bit by these people saying, oh, our instance has translation. What's wrong with you? Who do you think you are? Meow. But they did it very beautifully and very nicely. The Baroque a mongoose said, it depends which instance you're on. My instance has very handy instant translator, which works surprisingly well. Useful because I know people who post in Ukrainian. Hey, that's a good one to have. Dutch, German, Yiddish, Italian, and only the last 2 languages do I have any chance at all. Well, that's very smart. And I'm thinking of our friend in Ukraine. If Twitter goes down, he's going to want to get on Mastodon. And I'm thinking of our friend in Russia who sells all of his NFTs to pay for his family. He might want to get on our instance, maybe. And he uses Google Translator to translate everything. So we might need him to know what the translations are. So those are very important things. And one thing I've discovered in being on the Discord server, the official Discord server for Mastodon, is that Mastodon is a very restrictive is not the right word, but that's the idea. They're a very moderated place. They don't, all these thousands of instances don't like to put up with, Nazis, white power, cruelty, fascism. It's out. They also, I've discovered, like Dora and her son, they hate crypto, and they do not like NFTs. Now, I don't mind crypto. I think NFTs are very delightful, but I get it. Because, especially on Twitter, there are a lot of people, friends of mine, who spend all day not doing crypto really, but shilling their NFTs. And as I kind of, mentioned on the Discord server, for Mastodon, look, these are people in a war zone. This is how they exchange money. This is how they pay for their families, by selling their NFTs. And the response I got back from these other administrators is, so what? We don't care. No crypto. We don't want NFTs. We will ban any instance that, sells that kind of stuff. And they don't like generally self-promotion, selling just to sell yourself, putting links to go buy things. They don't like that either. Block. I understand. I agree. So I revise the rules on our server. Be nice, be kind, don't be cruel. By the way, no crypto, no NFTs. Mastodon is not a marketplace. Because I guess before they cut you off, these admins will go and look at your server and see what your rules are. And okay, the rules don't say anything goes. So then they, I guess, privately report to you, look, this user is trying to sell 1,000 NFTs. Handle it, or we'll handle it for you by cutting you off. So right now it's Jana Marie, me, and Dora, and we're not doing any of that. But as we expand and more people join us, it's something that needs to be considered. But at least the rules are there now. I have learned that lesson. To put it in place, to keep it there, to lock it down. Hey, there's our best friend Dora. She says, really haven't checked Mastodon yet. Very busy. I'm not typing fast enough. So as you move from subject to subject. Well, Dora, I've really not done anything but talk about Mastodon since we started. I had a whole list of things to chat about, and I've now talked for about half an hour on Mastodon. Which is good, because it's important, and I like doing it. And Ugo is not replying to my inquiry about which translation software to use. Oh, and I love this little PR. Boles.xyz is our new Mastodon instance. Be sure to join our federated server. We did, and we're doing it. And it's a lot of fun. And Dora's with us. So, hey, what else is going on? Well, I'll tell you. I have a few stories to share with you. One of them is this. Yesterday, for about an hour and a half, I entertained the Comcast repair guy. Now, if you remember my long history with Comcast, we've been with them for 20 years. Mainly because there's no other competition in town. But now Verizon Fios is kind of coming up, and then they're sort of not, but they are. And trying to get things fixed with Comcast can be very trying. You don't ever want to call them on the phone. You don't want to chat with them on their website. It's just an endless loop. And it's all sort of, in my opinion, there to put up a barrier so you just kind of go away, give up and go away. So it used to be you could go on Twitter and DM the Comcast reps and say, hey, I need help. And they would, in the next 10, 15 minutes, go through who are you, identify you, send you a text to make sure that you are the person trying to change the account. I understand all that. I accept it. In the last 6 months or so, they have been not that way, where you go in there, you log in, you ask them for help. 15 minutes later, they respond. What is your name? You give them your name. 15 minutes later, they respond. What is your address, right? Now, I've learned to just kind of provide it all in one tweet, in one message, private message, direct message, whatever they call it. But they tend to want to do it their way. And they don't want all the information at once because they don't know how to process that. They need to go in their order, in their time, in their steps. So I've now learned, because I'm old, just to sit here and wait for them to ask their next question. Even though I know what it's going to be, I can't anticipate it because they'll make me go back to the beginning and start all over. So once you get verified, and the last time I tried to get verified, I waited for 30 minutes for them to get back to me, and they never did. And our cable by that point had been out for 3 days. So I thought, what am I going to do? They're being non-responsive. So I thought, okay, they push you into the Xfinity app. So I pushed my way in to the Xfinity app. The Xfinity app did all the checking. They said, oh, yeah, it looks like your service is not working. So what, you want to make an appointment? And I said, okay. And see, when you do it with Twitter, they can, kind of manipulate the appointment slots. So like usually the next day they'll come over. Well, this was on a Friday and the next available appointment was Monday morning. So all through the weekend, he had to suffer with, using streaming software instead of just having your regular cable box working. Yeah. First world problems, I know. So the cable guy finally came over, had all the equipment with him, unplugged our cable box, plugged in a new cable box. I asked him, hey, Twitter support said if you need a new, modem, you can get the new modem. And I had the 6 modem. Then there's a 7 modem that came out a year ago that they sent to me that didn't work. And then there's the brand new 8 modem, which we've talked about, but you can get. You can't even order it. You can order a new modem and they're going to send you a 7, even though they tell you they're sending you an 8. And I know this because their support told me that from Comcast, and because other people online have complained about that. They try to get upgraded to the best new modem, and it's not allowed. Oh, and it looks like our friend Hugo just replied to us. Let's go see what he had to say, because this is something I got to fix. And then I'll continue my sort of rant. Mastodon currently supports DeepL. Glorious. Glorious. Okay. Is that it? DeepL? DeepL? DeepL. I'm going to ask. Okay, hey, this is the fun of doing a live show, right? We do everything together. Okay, boom, boom, boom. We're seeing all this together, right? Okay, hey, Hugo. I'm not going to say Hugo because I don't know if he wants people to know that's his real name. Hiya. Do you mean deepl.com? If so, that's what Ice Cube's app uses. Do I just sign up there for an API? API, and send that to you? And is there a cost on your side? Okay, let's see it. Hey, do you mean deepl.com? If so, that's what the Ice Cube's app uses. That's what the Ice Cube's app uses. Do I just sign up there for an API and send that to you? And is there a cost on your side? Wham! Love it. Doing technical support live and in concert together here on Boles.tv. Hey, it's Boles.tv. Now, it's interesting. See, I'm glad I asked, because if I had gone to Google Translate, if I had gone to OpenAI, like we were trying to do, because we already have an account, we already have an API, I'm using our new NVIDIA eyeball filter, which I love because I'm always looking at you. But if you mess around with it like this, you can make your eyes go on the other sides of your fingers. It's freaky, and it's for Halloween. Jana Marie used it on Saturday, or should I say it used her? And she didn't like it. And I say, too bad! We are AI people now. We are technologically inclined. We test things until they break. That's what we do. So the Comcast guy comes in, plugs in, new box, and we had before had a very thin box. Now there's a great big, chunky old box. Hey, it looks like Hugo just replied. Hey, it's Dora making cookies and lunch for everybody. I'm glad you're with us. Okay, here we go. Mastodon currently supports the... Oh, here. Yes, that's it. Sorry for the typo. You sign up for the key here. Beautiful. He didn't answer me if it cost me anything on his side. Okay. Fantastic. Fabulous. Yeah, I got a reply now. Fantastic. I'll set it up. I like Deep L a lot. Yeah, oh yeah, Dora's happy. Which is a good thing. Nobody wants Dora unhappy. I've been married 34 years. We don't want Jan unhappy either. Nobody's unhappy. It's all my fault. I apologize. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. I like Deeple a lot. I will set it up and email you. I like Deeple a lot. Thank you. Meow. Oops. And I love it that he gave me a sign up. That's what I needed. Publish. Meow. Yay. Oh, yeah. Oh, there it is. And he also says, no extra costs on my end. Just email me requesting the API key to be added to your server configuration. Meow, meow. You answered all my questions. So now I say beautiful. Oh, so happy. Beautiful. Woohoo. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm clicking on my I'm clicking on my live screen, not the real screen. Is there a difference between a live screen and a real screen? No. Yes, but no. Perfection. Perfection. Ah! We talked about my keyboard the other day, and it's weird. Oh, now it's not working. Cancel. What'd I do? Oh, I just messed it up. Okay. Reply now will overwrite. Reply, overwrite. Oh, Dora is clapping, and it looks like it's either dancing or it's fireworks. I can't tell what it says. But it looks good. At least I'm not getting yelled at. Dora doesn't yell. Now, Jana Marie, on the other hand. Just kidding. Perfection. Why am I having keys up? Perfection. I will get this done ASAP. So happy to know about it. Any other features I need to enable that I may not know about? Question, question, question. Meow. Publish. So anyway, the Comcast guy comes in, and I tell him about the modem, and the Twitter people said, "Oh, just when you're, oh, hey, it's Dora, so tiny, dancing, clapping, great investigative work, beautiful, thank you, I love the dancing." So the Comcast guy plugs in the new big box, which is ugly, but it has a clock on it, which I like, and it has a recording thing that shows you when your DVR is recording. It's the old box, but like they updated it. And the new box is the thin box that broke. And I told him what Twitter support said, and Twitter support said, "Oh yeah, when your tech shows up, just ask him if he has, one of those new modems in his truck, and he'll give you one." And I told him that, and he laughed and laughed and laughed. And I laughed with him as well, because I knew what they were telling me was not true. But he said, "Let me go to my truck and see what I have." And he was a very, very nice guy. He wore little booties over his shoes, even though it was not necessary. He wore a mask the entire time he was here. I had all the windows open a little bit, just, to keep everything fresh and free so nobody gets sick. But he never took off his mask. And I love these cable installers because they always test your setup using ESPN. So they can watch the news, find out what's going on, and comment on it. And this guy said, "Look, the Super Bowl's coming up. Kansas City against the Eagles." He said, "I'm rooting for Kansas City." I thought to myself, well, that's weird because New York, Eagles, Philadelphia, New York, we're neighbors, same conference. You got to support your team, support the conference. And then he said, "I'm rooting for Kansas City because I hate the Eagles. I never want them to win anything. I'm a Giants fan." Okay. And I thought, okay, you're a Giants fan, so now you got to root against your conference. No. I am rooting for the Eagles. So he plugged everything in, went out to his truck, came back like 20 minutes later, and he said, "The box is not working? Is it anything?" I said, "No, it didn't do anything. It hasn't done anything since you left. I've been watching it." And he was very concerned by that. He said, that doesn't make any sense. So he plugged the box, plugged it back into the box. And meanwhile, he had this beautiful white modem. But I knew from our previous conversations that Comcast is now selling their version 7 modem as a white modem. Because people don't know if it's a modem 8, it's not, they only see it on TV. And the new best is this beautiful white modem. So what Comcast did, because they don't have any 8 modems, is they changed the 7 modem to not be black anymore, but to be white. So when people call and say, I want the white modem, and they get sent the 7 instead of the new 8, they don't know the difference because they don't pay attention. Is that an 8 modem, or is that a 7 with a white shell? And he said, no, this is the 8. It's the only one I have. It's brand new, never been used. He said the 7, kind of been refurbished, but the 8s, this is new. I said, I cannot believe it. And he didn't care about that. He said, why isn't your box working? Because when you plug it in, it has to reprogram itself. It takes 20 minutes. So he came back 20 minutes later, knowing that the box would be set up and he could leave. But since the box didn't set up, he knew he was going to have to start all over 20 minutes. So he was very confused. He looked at it. And this, I always, whenever you get something new, always take everything that comes with it. Sometimes these, especially tech guys, just want to swap out a box, use the old AC, plug it in and go. And something he said dawned on him that he remembered from a year ago, that certain power bricks being recalled. So he pulled out our power brick for our little thin flat cable box, and he looked at it, and he looked at the new one that he didn't use, that he looked at it, and the new one was big. The other one was very small. And he looked and then looked and then looked and then looked and looked and looked and looked. And then he said, I'm remembering a year ago that there was something about this particular brick, AC power source, that was being recalled. So he took a photograph of it on his phone so he would remember it and have a reference to it next time, because he said, I don't think this is working. So he plugged in the new power cord, which I always do, plugged it into the new box, and it booted up fine. He said, who would have thought it would have been a bad AC brick? It's never a bad AC brick. And I said to myself, I know you're right, but I remember 20 years ago when ISDN lines first came, and we had an ISDN modem, and it had a great big huge power brick that plugged into the wall. And the modem did not work. And this was very expensive. It was a penny a minute, and he could split the lines, and it was 2 pennies a minute to get super fast, 128K up and down. And I contacted the modem company, and they said, they knew. They said, it sounds like you have a bad AC. Let us. Well, they didn't send me a new one. They sent me a whole new everything. So I had 2 modems, but only 1 power brick that worked. So I kind of knew, if you're going to get something new, don't keep it, because the power brick is working 24 hours a day, processing the power, bumping it up, lessening it so it can make your electronic thing work. And if you have a power surge, things can go really wrong. And we tend to have a lot of power surges around here. It's very nasty. So something happened, and once he swapped out the brick, it all worked, and he was very happy. Then he started setting up the modem, and I noticed the modem had a whole different kind of power brick for itself, matching gray. It was very beautiful, and he couldn't get the modem to sync. And I said, that's the problem I had with the 7. It would never sync up. It would just keep going in a loop. I said, that's why I'm so glad you're here, because the cable box I really don't care about. It's the upgraded modem that I really, really want. So he tried to get it set up, and I said, we have bridge mode, which is a modem term, because we have routers that we own, but we have the modem from Comcast. Now, I prefer that, and you have to pay $10 a month to rent the modem from Comcast, but I like it because if there's any problem with your internet, Comcast comes out and fixes it. If you use your own router only, and we also have a phone, so it's a little complicated, and there's a problem with your internet, Comcast blames you and your router. And you can't prove it's not your router because you don't have their modem. So for $10 a month, it's fine to pay for a modem that works. You plug in your router to it, and then your router becomes your internet service. And he was having a hard time. He said, if I can get this to work, he said, all of your old settings that you had, the bridge mode, the Wi-Fi login, all of that will be transferred to your new modem, and you won't have to do anything. I said, that sounds impossible. That's not the Comcast way, to have something seamlessly transferred over that works. He said, well, it should work. And then he reset the modem. There's a little new button you can press on the back, and it makes musical sounds as it's reloading, and you have to keep the button pressed in for a long time. It took a while. And then I had to use his phone to program the Wi-Fi name and the password, but it had to be exactly what it used to be, or it wouldn't work now. So we did that, and he had to do that 3 or 4 times. He says, it's not transferring over. I said, well, should we just forget about it? He said, no, because then it won't say nothing, it won't work. So we did it again 4 different times. He gave me his phone. I typed in the name of the network and then the password, gave it back to him. And ultimately, it finally, for some reason that he doesn't understand, that I don't understand, it hooked in together, and it all worked beautifully. So I was very happy about that, and so was he. And so I immediately, went around and fired all of our stuff up to see if I had to. Sometimes you have to disconnect and then reconnect your Wi-Fi system when things like that shit, because that was a major change. We swapped out the modem. We had no internet service for an hour and a half. And then it's back on suddenly, and your router needs to wake up and say, hey, this is working. And everything miraculously and magically worked. It was an absolute and complete delight, something that I'm not quite over yet. And the new modem is very beautiful, very slick, and very, very fast. So I did a little speed test with him there, and in the middle of it, the router rebooted, and I said, uh-oh, it doesn't look like it's working anymore. He said, it's okay. He said, it's a new modem, it's updating, there's firmware, it's accepting the new settings, everything's going to be fine. It might reboot itself like that, throughout the day, even after I leave, and don't worry about it, it'll be fine. And he was absolutely right. So far, everything's been fine. Except the one thing is our HP, Hewlett-Packard, color printer laser, right? I like it very much, but it really doesn't get along with Wi-Fi. It's very slow speed, 2.5 gigahertz. And it has a tendency that when any little tiny thing on the Wi-Fi changes, it says, I'm off. I'm not part of this anymore. I don't want to be part of it anymore. You're on your own. Don't ask me to print. I'm not printing. Everything else, if there's a little change, if things go out for a second and pops back up, they say, oh, it's out, but it's back now, so it looks like it's okay, so I'll keep going. Not the printer. The printer, I have nothing to do with it. The Wi-Fi network has changed. I'm not here. So you have to turn it off. Then you have to turn it back on. Wait for it to wake up, go through its cleaning process. It takes 10 minutes. So the printer would not print. So I turned it off, turned it back on, waited for it to come back, then printed a little test page, and it printed. So that was confirmation for me that this whole big switch finally did actually resolve itself and work, because the printer is behaving, all of our internet stuff is fine. Now, our lights here do have a problem because they went off, because they're all connected through Wi-Fi, through our Windows machine. And, every day I turn on the machines to do the show, there's 1 or 2 lights that won't come on. And they're supposed to, but they just decide not to work. So I said, I'm going to have a big lighting problem today. And I did, But when I just, like forced them on, so they're not all part of a network, everything was fine. It worked just great. I don't know why. But so far, so good. So we're holding thumbs to see if all of this will hold back together. But it's very interesting to have your cable box back because, all the channels you've memorized are back. Before we were using the Xfinity Stream app through our Apple TV. And that saved us because we could, watch the show, watch the news. It's just very, very slow. And none of the channel numbers are the same. Like sci-fi is 829 and on the app it's like 27 or something. It's very bizarre. But you can do a little search if it wakes up. But that did save us, and we never lost internet. I mean, we've had that modem for what now? 5 years? 6 years? That's a long time to have a modem from my cable company. Especially when you try to upgrade it. And we had upgraded our speeds. You could, go up to a gig, which is what the one we have goes up to. And then they said, hey, you can have Extreme, which is 1.2 gigs, which our modem did not go up to, but we still paid for it because we were supposed to be sent a 7 modem that never worked. So now we have a modem that actually fits the speeds that we are trying to accommodate. And so far, so good. Now, I think our friend Hugo has now replied to us. Let's see if there's anything special going on when it comes to updating. Oh, look at this. I'm getting a lot of, now, if I'm in trouble, I'm coming after Dora because I know where she's hosted on Mastodon. There's no extra cost on my end. Okay, Morph is answering this. David, Mastodon, Mongoose, Dora. You can have a free API key, but they require a credit card number for registration to prevent misuse of the key. Fair? That's weird. They say it's to prevent misuse. I'd say it's to prevent use of the free key. Again, FediLab at least can do it in app. Well, so does Ivory and so does Ice Cubes. And Morph has been very helpful to us in the past, so we will definitely help him when we're on our show. David, none that I can think of. I asked if there were any other hidden things I didn't know about. But most configuration settings on Mastodon are here and can be changed on my end. Well, that sounds very provocative. Where does this take us to? Configuring your environment. Okay, so this is all file storage, CDN. Okay, I will have to look at that and be a more responsible instance owner. But the whole idea of having Hugo run my instance is that he does all that stuff. I don't do anything. I just sit here and look pretty and talk to Dora all day. So that's good from Morph. Okay. Well, we'll just have fun with this. That's a good point. I don't mind giving up a card. That's the way of the day now. Meow. Publish. Or as Dora likes to insist, toot. That's the one thing I didn't like about Mastodon is the toot thing, and there's a whole joke behind it, which I'll tell you in a minute. But I just lost something here. Okay, so we answered Morph there. We'll thank Morph again here. That's good to know. Thank you. Dora thanks you. We all thank. Oh, I keep going to my main screen. Just like when I look at myself and not with the actual window. Thank you. We'll check it out. Boom. Oh. Pow. Now we have to go back this way. Meow, meow. Okay, I will look for it. Excellent, lots of reading to do. Oh, something's buzzing me. Oh, it's telling me I've reached my activity goal for the day. Lots of handshaking, I guess, going on here. Wonderful. I'll read it and memorize it. Thank you. Meow. So the idea behind the toot thing is many years ago when Mastodon was starting, which was what, 2007 maybe? Maybe not that long ago. There was some comedian who thought it would be hilarious because, it's an elephant makes noise, and that tweets, but not tweets, publishing would be called a toot, T-O-O-T. And the comedian said, I will pay you a certain amount of money for you to always call it that button labeled toot. And Mastodon was starting out, needed money, said, great, we'll have a toot button. Everybody's laughing, everybody says it's a big joke. Artist Store says, if I want to send you a private message, is there the anticipation. Maybe she'll finish her sentence, and then I will finish the story. And so it became the toot. And as it became more popular and more serious people got involved, they said, why are you calling these toots? I mean, toots in English means fart. And I think that's the big joke on you. Gene, who is the guy who started Mastodon, has said, Dora says, do I have to click on anything to make it private? Yes, you do. I'll show you in a minute. I'll do it right here with you. Eugene, who is German, said, recently, if I had known that toot was, a big joke for fart, I never would have taken the money and I never would have expected to do it. I didn't know the guy was making a joke on my lack of English, which is a really nasty thing for that comedian to say, but that's what comedians do. They're sort of that way. So in this latest release of Mastodon, the publish button is now there instead of a toot button. Now, when I first started on an instance that I did not run, the originalists still like to call it a toot. This publish button said publish, right? But then when you hovered over it to click it to make it go and publish, it would change to toot. So it would be published this way, and then you put your mouse over it to send it, and then it would change to toot, which I thought I didn't like it. Now it's just, as you can see, it's just solidly publish. So we now have to find our friend Dora. Bum, bum, bum. Where is she? That is she. Here. Okay, so here's Dora. We'll go to her profile, and these are the three dots, menu. These appear usually in apps as well. Mention Dora, direct message Dora. DM, same as Twitter, except it's not a separate area. And you click on that, right? And then as you can see over here, our publish button now has a lock on it. And we get this warning, posts on Mastodon are not end-to-end encrypted. Do not share any sensitive information over Mastodon. Okay, fair enough. And then at Dora. Hello, Miss Dora. This should be a private message. A direct message, if you will. Friend, DB, and then we send publish. I also want to say tweet, but that wouldn't be appropriate, right? So now I click over here on my name, which takes me over here to my timeline, and I'm just seeing if my little note to Miss Dora is there. It is there. And as you can see, this right here is the boost button, which has a line through it now, which means it cannot be boosted, shared on your public timeline, because it's a private message to Miss Dora. So there you go. We had a whole bunch of things to laugh and cry about today, and we spent most of our time crying about Mastodon. Thank you so much, Dora. But all good stuff. I like doing live things. I like solving things together with a purpose and an intention. And now the show is over, and I'm going to go talk to Hugo and see if I can get translation set up as soon as possible. I thank you so much for being here. You know where to find me. On Mastodon, just go to Boles.xyz and find out. Thank you, Dora. Have a lovely lunch. Eat some of those delicious cookies, but keep walking and take care of yourself. I'll see you again soon. Take care. Be well. Bye.